Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I'm going to be showing you another rumoured new card. But it's one that seems pretty gosh darned reliable, ladies and gentlemen. You see, PokeBeach have just posted a spoiler, so to speak, of a new Nanu card, which is going to be the booster box promo for Sun and Moon 8B. We did mention that in a previous video. It's going to be Dark Order. We have talked about this. It looks like there's an Incineroar in it. Well, by which we mean there's definitely an Incineroar in it. And that makes me very, very happy indeed. So we're getting a Nanu card, and the lovely figs over at PokeBeach have even been nice enough to give us a little bit of text and tell us exactly what it does. We'll get to that in just 1 second. But first of all, they have confirmed the translation that we gave of Professor Elm's lecture in yesterday's video. This doesn't mean that it's 100% confirmed yet, but if PokeBeach's Japanese source has independently gotten the same text as my anonymous Japanese source, I think it's fair to say that we can count it as confirmed. So what does Nanu do? Well, according to PokeBeach, it reads, choose one of your Pokemon in play, search your discard pile for a basic Darkness Pokemon, and switch it with that Pokemon. Any attached cards, damage counters, special conditions, turns in play, and any other effects remain on the new Pokemon. Discard the first Pokemon. So what you can essentially do is take a basic Darkness Pokemon from your discard pile and swap it with your active. Active goes to the discard. But everything else remains. And if this is starting to sound a little bit familiar, it probably should. It's kind of like Ninja Boy. It's actually very similar to Ninja Boy. The big difference being that Ninja Boy swapped a card from your deck with your active, and it could be any basic, whereas Nanu swaps a basic Darkness Pokemon from your discard with your active. So it's discard rather than deck, and it is Darkness Pokemon rather than any Pokemon. Basics, of course, for both of these cards. Now, this is, of course, quite fitting because he was one of the Island Kahunas, and he did, in fact, work with Dark Pokemon. It's dark in the video game, darkness in the trading card game. Just roll with it. It's fine. Could this be any good? I mean, the first thing to mention here, it's basically Ninja Boy. And Ninja Boy, well, Ninja Boy's a weird one. Initially, Ninja Boy saw quite a lot of play. There was a deck rolling around for quite a while whereby people would use Vileplume to lock people out of item cards, and then they would use Ninja Boy to switch between a whole bunch of blocking Pokemon. Jolteon EX to stop against basic Pokemon, and Glaceon EX to stop evolved Pokemon, and just kind of roll with that. And if you didn't have an answer for this deck, you would lose to it. But then Ninja Boy kind of fell out of favour. Ninja Boy kind of went away, and then we're stuck with a, does this work, does this not work kind of thing. And in many videos, I would raise Ninja Boy as a potential option. But then it kind of went away, and it never really saw any play. And although I'd keep raising it, Ninja Boy basically went. So if Ninja Boy has stopped seeing any play, and of course it will have rotated by the time this comes out, will we actually use this card? As a side note, one of the questions I always get asked is, when is it coming out? If it's in Sun and Moon 8B, there's no guarantee, but it seems overwhelmingly likely that this will be in our Sun and Moon 9 set, which will be our February set. And although a release date for that hasn't actually been revealed, it's gonna be Friday the 1st of February. Just putting that out there. I am 99% sure that is going to be the release date. So the first question we really need to ask here, what Darkness decks are we actually playing at the moment? Now, on the one hand, the easy answer to that is, we're playing Zoroark. And yes, we are playing Zoroark decks at the moment. We are playing a lot of Zoroark decks. But do we really want this for a Zorua? I mean, certainly, now that Professor Elm's lecture has been pretty much confirmed as real, it's fair to say that's going to be great in Zoroark decks. That lets you search your deck for free Pokemon of 60 HP or less, put them into your hand, that's free Zorua. That's going to be great in Zoroark decks. What about Nanu? Now, the one really important thing here is that turns in play remain. This could really help you out if you have a bad first turn. So let's say you've got something like a Latios active. You've got a double colourless energy attached, and you're doing 30 to the active and 30 to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. But you don't have a Zorua out, you are unable to grab a Zorua. Well, if on turn 2, you can get a Zorua into the discard, you can then use Nanu to swap it with your active Latios, at which point it has been down for a turn, because Latios was down for a turn, at which point you can immediately evolve into a Zoroark GX and start trading, and you've already got the double colourless energy ready to attack. It's a little bit awkward, but that's the kind of interaction that we're going to be able to roll with here. The other huge advantage you have is that it puts the Pokemon directly from your discard pile into your active. What that means is that, let's say you've got something stuck in the active that's got a very high retreat cost. I don't know, maybe an Oranguru. That's not really high, but it's more than nothing, gosh darn it. What you're able to do is then pop a Darkness Pokemon straight from your discard into the active without having to worry about your Oranguru. It's a built-in switch. And bearing in mind, by the time this comes out, Floatstone's going to be gone. So switching is going to be a lot more awkward. Now, to be fair, we've got Guzma, which will work as a switch, and a whole bunch of people are going to be playing Tate and Liza, which will work as a switch. But it's still nice to have a bunch of switching options. Although, is anyone else kind of weirded out by how many different supporter cards we're getting lately, which have the opportunity to be a switch? Personally, I kind of am, to be perfectly honest. There's a lot of switching things at the moment. And again, if that Oranguru has been down for more than a turn, doesn't have had to have been active, just on the field for more than one turn, not only can you switch it with a Zorua, you can then evolve it up. The thing is, outside of Zoroark, we're not really seeing many Darkness decks at the moment. Sure, Evil Tau Break's seeing a bit of play at the moment, but that's very much a pre-rotation deck, and by the time this comes out in February 2019, we are going to be deep into post-rotation, so we're not going to be playing Evil Tau Break. Now, I suppose you can still play it in Expanded, but it's not proven to be a great Expanded deck. It had kind of a nice run at the North American International Championships, but that really was it. But then again, it's coming out in February. And let's not forget, Sun and Moon 7B is called Dark Order. And the booster pack shows Hooper, Incineroar, and Absol. And it's called Dark Order. It's clearly going to be a darkness-focused set. So one of the things we got to bear in mind when we look at a supporter card like Nanu here, it's not for now, it's for the future. And this is one of the things you've always got to bear in mind when you're looking at cards coming out in the future. We don't know what they're going to be able to do. We don't know what Darkness Pokemon are coming. This is one to bear in mind, because maybe that new Absol is amazing. And now Nanu's going to help you get it out and get it into the active. I'm a big fan of this card. It's not an every turn card, but since we've got Tapu Lele, you can always just search for whatever supporter you want. You'll know this by now. So you can play 1 or 2 copies in your deck. It works as Pokemon Recovery, and it gets it into the active. And then you can potentially evolve out of nowhere. This is going to lead to some really surprising plays where you're sitting there going, ha, my opponent can't get that Zoroark or other Stage 1 Darkness Pokemon. And then they're like, oh, ha, yes I can, because they play a Nanu and then immediately evolve it. I'm going to be giving it 4 Wassies. Honestly, this could end up being a really good or a really bad card. And I think Ninja Boy is the best parallel possible for this card. Mountains of potential. Had a section of the season where it was a really good card, and then dropped off when we all realised we had no more use for it. That's how I see Nanu. I think during its legality, there are going to be times it's essentially a 5 Wossie card, and I think there are going to be other times when it sees no play at all. But I do expect it to see a fair amount of play, so I think 4 Wassies is fair. Cheers to PokeBeach for sharing this information with us, lovely people over there. And shout out to I want to say Ashfield101 for sharing the blank supporter template over on DeviantArt, and shout out to me for putting together this incredibly ugly dummy card. But tell me what you think about my artwork, and tell me what you think about this particular card in the comment section. Go nuts, but remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.